What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to This Week in Esports and Gaming for the first week of January 2023. I'm your host, Mark Kai, and you might be asking yourself, Mark, what are you changing for this year, right? For This Week in Esports and Gaming, there's got to be something new, right? And currently, I have no plans to change anything. I like the way it's currently organized. If you have any suggestions or things that you think should be changed, please let me know, but I don't think it has to be necessarily dictated upon a new year. But there might be changes throughout the year that I see fit. Maybe we'll do one example without a video, or maybe we'll do something a little bit different and post on a different platform. Who knows? But right now, I don't have any planned changes, so we'll stick to consistency, and I think that's what's worked well for me. So let's dive right into it. For our first top 3 story, NetEase have acquired the Canadian dev SkyBox Labs. SkyBox Labs have previously co-developed huge titles like Halo Infinite, Minecraft, and Fallout 76. SkyBox will continue to operate independently under its founders Shang Kong, Derek McNeil, and Steven Sylvester. They will also continue to co-create games alongside existing and new partners, and NetEase is seemingly taking the Tencent approach to acquiring by changing nothing, which has worked well for Tencent in the recent years. In November of 2022, NetEase acquired a minority stake in the Swedish indie dev Liquid Swords, and so NetEase the acquisition also to scale faster in Canada, which signals how they're looking both in and outside of China for their business. As recently noted, Tencent recently got a publishing license for the Chinese government for one of their games, but it still looks like, their reliance as well as NetEase's on the Chinese government is pushing them out of their home region and maybe trying to diversify globally. That being said, it seems like China kind of now views the industry as an important business, right, instead of a negative for their kids. And so regardless, the governments of both China and India have had huge impacts on gaming worldwide, right, with banning certain things and allowing certain things. So I'll have to see what other acquisitions NetEase makes to continue expanding their business. Zenimax QA have formed a worker union. Microsoft is now the second AAA gaming publisher, with Zenimax, Workers United, and Communication Workers of America announcing roughly 300 QA devs that came out in favor of the unionization. Earlier last year, Microsoft entered a labor neutrality agreement with the CWA, where the union would support the Activision Blizzard acquisition in exchange for Microsoft taking a more neutral stance on the potential unionization activity. It seems like Microsoft is holding up their end of the bargain and looking to work with the union in good faith negotiations. I think this is a win-win for both Microsoft and Zenimax workers. For the workers, right, it allows them to have more say in their pay, communication, work schedule, and other things. And while it might seem like a loss for Microsoft because maybe they have to pay them more or have to be a little more lenient, I think it shows them that, or it shows the FTC that they're actually willing to follow through on big business decisions, and hopefully it will push the FTC more in the direction of letting them be less strict on Microsoft for acquisition requirements. That's exactly what I think Microsoft's doing here. They're trying to say, hey, like, you can trust us here. Maybe we said we're going to actually not make these games exclusive to Xbox, and here's an example of us following through on a big decision. So with unionization on the rise in general, but also in gaming, I'm curious more to see what unions are able to accomplish by working with these companies. It's one thing for an individual to negotiate for different working conditions and better pay. It's an entirely different beast when you have that applied across the board to hundreds, if not thousands of workers. So I'll be curious to see how unionization in gaming continues to develop. Projekt Red have settled a lawsuit for $1.85 million. This settlement was reached on a lawsuit over Cyberpunk 2077 that was received 2 years ago and alleged that Projekt Red misled investors about the state of the game on Xbox One and PS4 consoles. This came from a law firm representing its own investors, and also recall, this was really close to Cyberpunk's disastrous launch, which had tons of technical bugs and issues, and every YouTuber is making a joke of the launch, which is probably what actually prompted the lawsuit here. As a result of this settlement, Projekt Red will also not have to admit any of its suit's allegations, and what I will say is that yes, the group might have gotten its $1.85 million that it settled for, but Cyberpunk made a very big recovery after its technical issues were fixed, I believe. Additionally, the creation of the show Cyberpunk Edgerunners with Netflix helped push the company to a revenue increase of 70% for Q3 of 2022, which amounted to $54 million. Reviews of the game are overall positive now, and so it seems that while the lawsuits, they faced maybe weren't so good initially, they actually, it didn't detract too much from the game making a nice comeback, and it shows that the game made a jump from silver to gold on Steam's top grossing games over a year, which really shows its progress. As far as partnerships go, H&M partnered with Roblox. H&M's game is called Looptopia and allows players to create a virtual wardrobe for characters by experimenting with materials and patterns. H&M joins the likes of Karlie Kloss, Forever 21, Ralph Lauren, and Gucci, who have all made worlds and games inside Roblox. The esports tournament platform 𝗶𝗶 have partnered with betting service provider Odin.gg. The partnership will focus on the Dota 2 Pro Circuit in Southeast Asia, with Odin gathering data directly from tournament servers. They will also work on marketing initiatives to help grow the 𝗶𝗶's platform and elevate Odin's visibility to esports consumers. Li-Ning have partnered with Riot Games. Li-Ning replaces Nike as the official apparel partner for the LPL, and for reference, Li-Ning also owns an LPL team called LNG. While financial terms of the deal weren't discussed, Nike signed a 4-year exclusivity deal with TJ Sports for the LPL in 2019, valued at $7.5 million a year. And for reference as well, Li-Ning makes sportswear clothing for weights, basketball, running, and badminton. As far as finance and M&A goes, Turkish mobile dev Ace Games raised $8 million. The investment comes courtesy of 𝗠𝗿, which is a Turkish investment fund. This $8 million investment comes after Playtika invested $25 million in Ace Games to acquire a minority stake in the company. Their only game currently is the puzzle game Fiona's Farm. Gearbox acquired Captured Dimensions. For reference, Captured Dimensions is a 3D capture company that has worked with companies like Lionsgate, Sony Pictures, 2K, and EA. Their work is mostly centered around 3D printing, prop scanning, and cross-polarized texture photography. The acquisition is meant to help Gearbox use this tech for future products across multiple business units. As far as workforce changes go, Michael Choi joins Cloud9 as a Chief Product Officer. Michael was formerly the CEO of FlyQuest Esports and will join current C9 CMO Trisha Sugita, who was also formerly the CEO of FlyQuest Esports before Michael. So now we see 2 FlyQuest CEOs join Cloud9. Michael holds a JD from Pepperdine Law and a Bachelor's in Marketing and Information Systems from NYU. Benji Clark joins Ionic as the Managing Director for Global Publishing. Benji's a buddy of mine and joins Ionic after a 10-month break being a parent. He has lots of marketing experience in gaming, working in executive roles at Mediatonic, Jagex, Plarium, Natural Motion, and EA in the past. He holds a Bachelor's in Art and Media Design from Central St. Martin's College of Arts and Design. Lincoln Hirschberger joins Evolver Digital as the General Manager for Good Shepherd Entertainment. He has tons of experience in gaming as he spent 18 years at EA, ending his tenure as the VP of Brand Management. He had a short stint at Twitch and spent 4.5 years at Bevy as the CMO most recently. He will be overseeing Good Shepherd Entertainment, which publishes games from indie devs, and he holds a Bachelor's in Business from Bowling Green State University. Mike Diver joins Premiere as the head of games. He was previously the head of content for Gaming Bible at Lad Bible, where he oversaw the editorial strategy and worked with lots of spreadsheets, according to his LinkedIn. He has a good amount of experience in PR and gaming over his 20-year career, and he holds a Bachelor's in Journalism and Business Management from the University of Manchester. Becker Young joins T1 as the General Manager for the League of Legends team. Becker was most recently GM of Sandbox Gaming in Korea for nearly 4 years, overseeing their LCK franchise. He previously worked in product management and consulting for a variety of tech startups and companies, and he holds a Bachelor's in Economics from Carnegie Mellon University. Amy Fair Roberts joins Exet as the Director of Public Relations. She was most recently an account coordinator at Hunt & Gather, a PR and comms firm based out of New York. She was previously a sales and marketing assistant too at a consulting company, and she holds a master's in public relations from Boston University. Alexander de Rochefort has been promoted to the CEO at Gameloft. Alexander has now been with Gameloft for over 20 years and was most recently CFO of the entire company. He will now be leading the entire company, which is one of my entrances into the gaming space with the Modern Combat series, and he holds a degree from the ESSEC Business School. Tim Reichert and Rosenbell Gannon have been promoted to the CEO and Director of Operations and Legal Affairs, respectively, at Excel Esports. Tim was formerly the COO of Excel Esports and takes over the CEO position from Walter Schleffers, who will now be the strategic advisor of the board. Rosenbell was previously the head of legal for Excel and has worked with organizations like Fnatic and British American Tobacco in the past. Tim has a plethora of experience as he was one of the founders at SK Gaming and was the head of esports at Schalke 04 Esports. As far as new stuff goes, Philadelphia Fusion have rebranded to 𝗠𝗿𝗸. The team owned by Comcast Spectacor has not only rebranded though, they've also moved all operations to South Korea, and all the players, management, and employees of the team will be still employed by 𝗠𝗿𝗸. That's it for this week in esports and gaming. Once again, credit to the authors and brands themselves and the images and information provided. Shout out to James Fudge for all his newsletters as well, so please go support him in the comments down below. And as always, everybody have a great day, and if you know someone who would appreciate this or find this valuable, tag them down below or share this in your feed. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful day.